Hello, YouTube. Once again, this is Lefty79, the commissioner of the NFL Stableford League, joining you for another NFL Stableford League Power Ranking show. This time we're in week 11, and we're ending the month of November with some very interesting rankings here. Maybe not so much movement at the top, but we got a lot going on here in the middle, and we got some good playoff races heating up here in both conferences that I want to get you up to date on. I don't have too much time today, so I'm probably going to breeze through some of this, but uh, probably with the lower third, I'll probably go through a little quicker. And then the middle third is where it really gets interesting. And then the top third is where it's going to get really interesting, as we have a very bunched up league this year. No one's really running away with it right now, and that's what really makes it interesting. As we have four teams with 8 wins right now, and there's definitely a little bit of a pecking order, but I think with the way things are with the game right now, seeing how fast people are improving already. I mean, we had a guy go from getting 2 points a handicap, and now next week he's not going to have any due to the promotion events. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes going forward, but it'll be fun. But as it is, we're going to start with number 32, and that will be the Taft man, Paul, checking in at 2-8. Finally reaching the basement. It just seems like he just never has not he's hasn't really gotten comfortable with the game yet after losing his second in a row, and now this time it was to the Washington Commanders at home, 21-19. A little disappointing there, I'm sure, for the home fans, but as it is, the Texans still really haven't been able to find their rhythm in this season, and even playing with their coordinator hasn't really rubbed off too much. So, but as it is, we'll see if the Texans can turn things around next week at Miami, uh, which is, ironically enough, his coordinator's old team. So uh, that'll be interesting to see how that turns out, as I know Zach's pretty much fired up to keep moving up these rankings as well and get himself into the playoffs. So, but as it is, the Daffodils, I'm glad to have them both involved in the league again. We'll see about Craig getting a team. I don't have an opening right off the top of my head right now, but things can always open up toward the end of the season if people start, as we have had every season so far, we've had some attrition. So hopefully not this year, but never say never, and it's good to know that there's somebody waiting on the outside that's looking to get in. But as it is, we're going to move up to number 31, and let's find out who we have. It's the Arizona Cardinals of Art Vandelay. 2-9 are the Cardinals after another tough loss at home to the San Francisco 49ers, a division rival. They're down 4 spots this week. As the Texans were down 3 spots from last week, the Cardinals dropped 4. I think more because of it was a home game and it had some division ramifications. And I thought Art was starting to turn the corner, but the desert just seems to be having a rough go of it this year. And just maybe the Hail Marys just need to be practiced a little bit more. But next, the Cardinals will take on an opponent that was conspicuous by his absence last week, and that would be the LA Chargers, and that'll be another home game in the desert. So we'll see if Kyler and crew can turn it around in week 12. As we now head to number 30, and I'm going to try to speed a little bit through some of these rankings as I am strapped for time here. It's the Carolina Panthers of Josiah. Also 2-9, up 1 spot this week though, but they've lost 6 games in a row. They really moved up because they were on the road at Baltimore, at a pretty tough place to play, and kept it somewhat close. I mean, it was a 4-point loss, 22-18, but Josiah is giving it his best every week, and he's really trying to get on the tours, and he's grinding away, and hopefully that pounding will finally result in getting on the tours and also getting a win in the NFL Stableford League. He's got 2 wins so far, and maybe the next chance will happen this week as he takes on Denver at home. We'll see if Russ is cooking that day or not, but we all kind of saw how it happened on Sunday, but we'll see how it happens here in the NFL Stableford League for the Panthers. As we now move to number 29, a team that's not used to being this low in the rankings. It's the Detroit Lions of CF. 3-7 after their sixth straight loss. They're down 3 spots this week after losing on the road at the Giants, 27-20. So the Giants got them by a touchdown. There's really no shame in losing to the G-Men on the road, but you'll like to see maybe a little closer performance there. But as it is, the Lions have now dropped 6 in a row, just like the Panthers have, and that ties for the highest losing streak in the league so far. And next, they're going to take on another team that's struggling, the Buffalo Bills, on Thanksgiving. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out, as both those teams are in desperate need of a win right now. And now we're going to go to number 28. It's the Minnesota Vikings of Andrew, at number 28 this week at 2-8, down 5 spots after losing at home to Dallas 24-22. They gave the Cowboys a good run at home, but it just wasn't quite enough. And now the Vikings will be taking on the Patriots at home for Thanksgiving. So we'll see if the Vikings can avoid putting up a turkey this week and maybe get back in the win column. But as it is, it's really weird seeing my NFC North division rivals this low in the rankings. I mean, it's just been kind of a down year in the division. But we'll see what happens if anybody besides the division winner gets a playoff spot. But right now, it's looking like the Bears are pretty much going to be punching their ticket, and we'll talk about them a little bit later on. As we now go to number 27, and our first winner of the week, it's the Washington Commanders of Mitch Gatorman at 3-8 with a big win at Houston, 21-19, up 1 spot this week. And next we'll take on Atlanta at home. So good to see that the Commanders are definitely grinding, and they're gonna keep going. And it's great to see from a new member of the league. I like seeing that, and I like seeing the effort that is happening here, and to get off that schneid of a losing streak and now start to maybe move up a little bit here. And the NFC East is going to be tough no matter what, but as it is, I mean, right now the playoffs are only a few wins away, as I think 6 wins right now is the plateau. So Commanders have a little bit of work left to do, but if they can make a little bit of a run, they can make it interesting. As we now move to number 26, another team that got a big win this week, but who's been struggling a little bit overall. I took the long way here, but we'll get there eventually. It's going to be worth the wait for the San Francisco 49ers at number 26 of B. Carroll, who are now 3-7 and are up 4 spots after the big win at Arizona, 22-20. You're able to pull that one out by a 2-point conversion. And will now take on the New Orleans Saints at home. So this is a good opportunity now for the 49ers to start a streak. They got a tough team coming into Levi's Field, so that's going to be an interesting one. As I know the 49ers have had a little bit of a struggle, but it seems like they figured it out on the tours, so we'll see if they can figure it out in the league. As we now hit the top 25. Again, a little bit brief here this week, but I wanted to get these out before the end of the month. It's the Buffalo Bills of Bulls on Parade, Patrick, who are 3-7, down 1 spot this week after their 3rd straight loss to the Cleveland Browns at home, 24-23. So that was their 3rd straight loss, and now they'll take on Detroit, as mentioned a little bit earlier, on the road. Well, Bills Mafia definitely not too thrilled right now with this season, but I'm sure they're having a great time in the parking lot, finding the tables out there and jumping off some RVs. But as it is, it's like right now the Bills really are going to need to step it up in the AFC right now, as it's a very difficult conference, very bunched up. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. A 9-8 record maybe has an opportunity, but it would definitely take a Herculean effort to get back into the hunt in the AFC if you're a Buffalo Bills fan or owner. But we're now going to move to number 24, a team that I'm going to tussle with this week. It's the Philadelphia Eagles of Zuby, who are at 500 at 5-5, down 2 spots this week after losing at the Colts 23-21. And that was a tough one for them. But the Colts are playing good right now, and right now the Eagles are going to be taking on yours truly, the Green Bay Packers at home at Lincoln Financial. So we'll see if the Eagles can rebound from this loss on the road. They seem to be playing better at home, so we'll see how that goes this week. But the Packers definitely going to have their work cut out for them. As we now move up to the spot above the Eagles, well, it's the team I just mentioned. It's the Green Bay Packers at number 23 at 5-6, down 2 spots after losing to Tennessee at home. After putting a couple wins together, the Pack really, they needed to get that one at home, and they just couldn't get the job done as the Titans are just too good. And they'll definitely have to bring it on the road now at Philadelphia. And this is pretty much uh, a battle to stay in the hunt here in the NFC. So Packers looking for that 6th win, and the Eagles are looking for theirs. But the Eagles have a game in hand, as the Packers uh, have not had a bye yet, whereas the Eagles have. As we now move to number 22, Double Deuce, it's the Las Vegas Raiders of Lucas in this style, up 3 spots this week at 4-6. With a big win on the road at Denver, though, that's what really jumped them in these rankings. Moved them up. A 24-22 win. That's pretty impressive on the road in Broncos country. And next they'll take on another difficult squad here, the Seattle Seahawks on the road. So the road trip continues for the Raiders. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going from that big win, that big divisional win in the AFC West. As we now move to number 21, a team that was kind of in the naughty chair last week after kind of skipping out on the league, it's the number 21 Cincinnati Bengals. They get the blackjack spot this week as they're 5-5, up 11 big spots though after winning at Pittsburgh 26-25 in a big division rivalry game. So that was huge for them, and now they'll take on the Tennessee Titans on the road. So we'll see if the Bengals and Smitey, I had it right last week, but I messed it up this week. But Smitey came in and just put out a big performance to show the league that he's putting the league on notice that the Bengals are not going to give up the fight to try to defend their Super Bowl championship, their Lombardi from last year. As we now go to number 20, a team that's in the naughty chair this week, it's the Los Angeles Chargers of Old Man Gaming, Allen, down 10 spots this week, and they're at 6-4 after losing to Kansas City at home, as they were not able to put up any points against a Kansas City team who came in and put up 25. So a big 25 rock loss at home is not what you want when you're in the middle of a big divisional race. But unfortunately, uh, just some logistics and some issues with the coaching staff weren't able to get the job done. And now they'll take on the Arizona Cardinals, and this is crunch time, as you get 2 shots at it, and then you move on. So this is an opportunity here. If it opens up, we got a guy waiting in the wings. This could be the team that gets on notice here. So I don't want to see it, but at the end of the day, the rules are the rules, and you get 2 weeks of zeros, and then it's hasta la vista. So hate to see it happen to somebody in the league, especially when he's got a relative in the league. So I'm really hoping that he can turn it around this week and get the game in. But we're gonna find out in the next 24 to 48 hours. So, but we'll see what happens. We now move up to number 19. I had to put my commissioner hat on for that one. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 5-5. Well, we haven't heard much from them lately. Well, for good reason. They are on a bye week. So Corey hopefully enjoyed his bye. Took the guys somewhere, or had give the guys the the get out of jail free card and let them do whatever they wanted for the last week and a half. But they didn't move anywhere in the rankings. They're on a they did lose their game going into the bye, so they're looking to get that taste out of their mouth as they'll be taking on the Baltimore Ravens at home. That's going to be a tough one coming out of a bye. So we'll see if the Jaguars uh, can get above 500 here for the first time in a while. Actually, they were 500 until they lost this previous game, but they want to get back above 500 as right now that AFC is very tough, and they're looking to make up some ground there in that wild card race. As we now move to number 18, a team that's wondering if they're in the hunt at all, it's the New England Patriots of Franz, who are 5-5 after dropping 2 spots this week after losing 2 in a row, and the latest being to the Jets, a division rival at home, 26-22. That's not what you want to do when you're definitely trying to make a playoff run, especially against a division rival who's below you in the record, but as we find out in a little bit here, are going to be above them in the power rankings. So, as it is, Franz has a chance to bounce back, though, against the Minnesota Vikings on the road. And I fully expect them to do so, as I don't really see long losing streaks in the Patriots' future. But as it is, they're not in the playoffs right now, and that's definitely something that Franz is not used to in this league, and neither is Bill Belichick. So we'll see if they can turn it around heading into Minnesota on Thanksgiving also. As you know, I'll move to number 17, another country that we haven't heard from in a while. It's the Seattle Seahawks, who are on bye. Horace Phoenix 5-5 record right now, no change in the ranking, and they're going to take on the Las Vegas Raiders at home, as mentioned. So they're waiting for them. So we'll see what happens. I did not have the Seahawks' previous results, but I'm pretty sure they're coming in on a pretty good streak right now, going into their bye. So the Seahawks are playing really good right now, and they're looking to get an NFC wildcard spot. But right now, they don't have one. So there's still plenty to play for here in the next 7 weeks for the Seahawks. As we now move to number 16, we're at the halfway point, and it's a team that I cannot figure out. It's the New York Jets of David Dix, who are 4-6. Couldn't buy a win on 2K21, the game that we've all been playing for the last 2.5 years. But now we go to this new game, and now he can't lose, as he's won 2 in a row now, and he's up 4 spots this week after beating the Patriots on the road, 26-22, as mentioned previously. And next they'll be taking on the Chicago Bears at home. So the Bears are good this year. They're playing tough, and the Jets are flying high right now. But as it is, they're still down in the standings, and they still got a lot of work to do to dig out of that hole that they dug for themselves in the first 5 weeks. So we'll see if they can do that heading into, well, they'll be home against the Bears. As we now move up to number 15, a team that's very invested in this season right now, it's the New Orleans Saints. Greg down 2 spots this week after losing 2 in a row now, the latest being to the Rams at home, 25-22. So that's not what you really want, as the Rams, they're playing great right now. They gave a good effort, just wasn't enough to overcome. But you don't want to lose those home games, and right now it seems like the Superdome is not a home field advantage right now, at least not lately. So we'll see if going on the road will help for the Saints, as they'll be heading out west to take on the San Francisco 49ers, an old division rival from back in the old NFC West days. So two teams that had a history for a little while, but then with the realignment, the Saints ended up going into the South, and the Niners ended up heading out west. So we'll see what happens, though. This is going to be a good one, I think, and it'll be interesting to see how the 49ers continue their run after their big win that they just had over Arizona. So as it is, we're going to go to number 14 now. Another team that's making a little bit of a run here. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers of Pat Strife, who are 5-5. They're down 2 spots this week after losing a tough one at home to the Bengals, 26-25. So the Steelers are like kind of in the middle of the pack, basically right in the middle. They're not in the playoffs right now, but they're putting up pretty good point performances, and they're just running into a buzzsaw, it seems like, every week. So we'll find out if that continues at Indianapolis, as the Steelers are looking to put up the steel curtain and maybe prevent some of those points from getting on the board. But as it is, they're going to have a tough one on the road, as the Colts are definitely playing pretty good Stableford right now. As we now move to Lucky 13, this is a team that's been chilling this past week. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of Chinatown, who are 6-4, up one spot this week, and they had their bye week. So the next time we'll see the Bucs will be at Cleveland. That'll be a tough matchup, as the Browns are very good in this league, and Chinatown has been struggling going into his bye. So we'll find out if Chinatown can get the ship turned around, and if they'll be raising the Jolly Roger this week or not. But as it is, the Dog Pound is a tough place to play this season, and the Browns are definitely going to be ready for that in week 12. As we now go to number 12, and a big shout out to the rowdy ones, the Cowboys of Sky Blue Bend, up 6 spots this week. That's the second biggest jump. At 6-4 after the big win on the road at Minnesota. That was impressive, as Minnesota usually plays good at home, but the Cowboys are able to get the job done, 24-22, and to keep pace in the NFC East with the Giants, who they will now play at home on Thanksgiving. So that'll be interesting to see. That's pretty much going to be a 2-game swing there in the division. So whoever wins that probably is going to have the division, in my opinion. So I'm not going to count out the Cowboys after that, but the winner of that, if the Cowboys win that, the division gets very interesting. But as it is, the Giants are very tough. They're building a dynasty, and they're in the middle of a dynasty right now, and they're looking to try to take that next step to greatness. And the Cowboys are definitely emerging, though, and they currently have the 5th spot in the NFC. So we'll go over that a little bit in a little bit, but right now, gonna keep moving up these rankings, as we'll get to the playoff picture in a little while here. As we go to number 11, it's the Denver Broncos of Austin. They did not cook this week, as they are down 4 spots. At 6-4 now, the Broncos, after losing at home to the Vegas Raiders 24-22. So that was a tough one. I believe, yeah, it was at home. Wow. That's devastating, really. That's a division matchup, and that's one that the Broncos probably thought they were going to have. But as it is, the Chiefs keep putting wins on the board, so that's gonna make the Broncos' job a lot tougher if they're going to catch them for that division. But as it is, they'll be playing the Panthers on the road next, and that's a big trip across the country, through at least 2 time zones there. So we'll see if the Broncos set the alarm clocks and get things going, because that's going to be an early start for them. But as it is, the Broncos are currently at the last wild card position in the AFC. So definitely, right on the edge here, of the playoffs. And now we hit to the top 10. A team that has not been this high in a long time. It's the Indianapolis Colts of Pizer, who are 6-5, up 5 spots this week. And they've won 4 in a row. And I don't think anybody's ever talked about them. But they have won 4 in a row, and their latest was at home against Philadelphia, 23-21. So kudos to the Colts, and now they'll be taking on the Steelers at home. So that's going to be a big matchup there. 2 teams that are fighting for playoff positioning, or trying to get in the playoffs, as neither of them are in right now. But the Colts ranking has them above a team that currently is in the playoffs. But that's because they have a 6-5 record. So as it is, the Colts definitely still have work to do, but they're in the top 10 in these power rankings on the heels of another big win. As we now move to number 9, it's a team that was really hot previously, but now they've cooled off a little bit. It's the Atlanta Falcons of Sean. who are 6-5. They're down 4 spots this week after losing at home to the Bears, 27-24. They got them by a field goal there, and that's tough. As you know, the Falcons look to be flying high in that NFC South, but now they're kind of back in the pack now, as they'll next take on the Washington Commanders on the road. So you don't want to let this loss to the Bears go into next week, but it can happen, as a lot of momentum might have been lost here. So as it is, we'll see if the Falcons will stay in the top 10 next week. As we now move to number 8, crazy 8. Who do we have? It's the Miami Dolphins of Coinhen, who are up 1 spot this week. They're 6-4. Didn't really do much this week, but they did lose their game going into the bye, as they were on a bye this week. So they're in the 4th spot right now in the AFC as one of the division leaders. So they would host a wild card game. But I know that's not what Zach wants. He wants to keep moving up in the AFC, and he'll have a chance to do that next as he takes on the Houston Texans at home in Week 12. And now we go to Lucky 7. It's a team that's gotten a lot of mentions. It's the Chicago Bears. The NFC North division leading Bears are 7-4. Austin's been playing solid all season long. He's up 4 spots this week after winning 2 in a row now. The latest being at Atlanta, as just mentioned, 27-24, and now he'll be on the road again, heading out east to the New York Jets, and that's going to be an interesting matchup, as the Jets are pretty tough at home. And yeah, it's just one of those things where you can't look past these guys. They're 4-6, but it's a deceptive 4-6, as they've been vastly improved now since the new game. So we'll see if the Bears don't look too far ahead in this one and are able to keep building on that 2-game winning streak they got going. As we now move to number 6, I'll go that way. It's the Baltimore Ravens of Eddie, who are 7-3 right now, down 2 spots though, but not because they didn't win, because they did. They beat the Carolina Panthers at home 22-18. Maybe not the most impressive performance, but sometimes, a win's a win. You got to take it. And next, the Ravens will be taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. So we'll see how that one goes. That's 2 teams that are really fighting in the AFC right now. The Baltimore Ravens are in the 3rd spot as the leaders of the AFC North right now. So we'll see. And I think it's based on tiebreakers. But as it is, the Ravens are looking to keep the momentum going off that home win, and hopefully they can. We'll see if they can do that, as they're just outside the top 5 this week. And speaking of number 5, let's find out who it is. It's insane Eric, number 5. The Browns are at 7-3 right now. They're up 1 spot this week after their 3rd straight win. This latest one at Buffalo, 24-23, just nipped them there. So a big win on the road there for Eric. And he'll next take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. So you don't want to look past that game, but the Browns definitely got to be feeling confident though, as they've been on a tear here lately and are now back up in the top 5, and right now are in the 5th spot in the AFC. So they would be the first team to take a trip in the wild card. So they want to move up and try to get in that division lead. And we'll see if they can do that. As we now hit the number 4 spot, it's the Tennessee Titans of Platypus Brigade, who are at 8-2, up 4 spots this week on the heels of that big win at Green Bay, 20-26. Very well done on the road. And now are going to be taking on the Cincinnati Bengals at home. So we'll see if the Titans can get back to that top spot that they had previously in the season. But as it is, they're the number 2 seed in the AFC right now due to tiebreaker with the Chiefs, as they lost to the Chiefs earlier this season. So they definitely need to try to find a way to get past them, as they did have a shot at them earlier this year and just weren't able to get the job done. But as it is, the number four ranking, nothing to feel bad about, as the Titans are definitely looking good for a playoff spot at this point, barring any unforeseen circumstances. As we now move to number 3, a team that's really surprised a lot of people this year, including myself, it's the Kansas City Chiefs of Kike, the top team in the AFC right now. They're 8-2, no change in the ranking after their 5th straight win after that no-show performance by the Chargers at home. The Chiefs went in there and just took it to them and shut them out. And next they get to play the other LA team, the LA Rams, but this time it'll be at home. So we'll see what happens there at Arrowhead, as the Chiefs have been tough there all season long. So kudos to Kike on that number 3 ranking, as we now move to number 2. Number 2. And it is the Los Angeles Rams of Kevin, who are 8-2. No change in their ranking this week, but they've won 6 straight games now after that big win on the road at New Orleans, 25-22. And next they'll be taking on the Chiefs. As we just mentioned, they'll be going on the road, and that'll be a big one. A battle between the number 2 and the number 3 teams. Well, that's got to be on Sunday Night Football. But I believe they took that game out of Sunday Night Football and moved it to the late games on Fox. So in our league, it probably will, be worthy of the game of the week status, especially when you got 2 teams that are, basically at the top of their conferences. But as it is, the Rams are number 2 in their conference because they do not have the tiebreaker with the number 1 team. Again, for another week, it's everybody's favorite team in New York and New Jersey, the New York Giants. Sorry, Jets fans, but I'll put over the G-men here, as Don Tag Rocket checks in at 8-2. No change in the ranking. 4 wins in a row now after that big win at home against Detroit, 27-20. Danny Dimes has just been slinging it this year. Saquon's been great, and Don's been feeling really good since those early season muddles that he had in the old game. And he hasn't lost anything yet since we made the transition here. So as it is, the G-men have a big game on Thanksgiving at their division rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, and that one will be with definitely a lot of divisional implications for the number 1 team in the NFC. So as it is, that is your number 1 team in the NFL Stableford League Week 11 power rankings. And I'm going to run through the playoff spots really fast here, and then I will sign off. In the AFC, we have the number 7 team, the Denver Broncos right now. The LA Chargers are at number 6. The Browns at number 5. Those are the 3 wildcard teams. The division leaders are the Miami Dolphins at number 4. The Baltimore Ravens at 3. The Titans are at number 2. And the top team in the AFC right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they would get that first round bye. That is always crucial to have. And next in the NFC, we have the number 7 Falcons, the number 6 Saints, and the number 5 Cowboys as your wild card teams. And the number 4 team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got the number 3 team, the Bears, the number 2 team, the Rams. Those are division leaders, and then they'll be hosting games if it stays the way it is right now. And then the number 1 team in the NFC, the New York Giants, and they would get that first round bye. But I'm going to have to say goodbye, as I really hope you enjoyed these rankings. I look forward to bringing them to you every week from here on out. And I thank you for listening or watching wherever you are. And this has been Lefty79 from the NFL Stableford League office, wishing you a very good day. And I'll see you down the road. Goodbye, everybody.